name is Fable Bliss, and I'm the new mascot of Style and Direction.
Welcome, Mr. Bliss. I'm
Mr. Bliss.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
You say you're
I don't believe in any of that gender nonsense. I'm a right-wing mascot.
Wait, you're telling me that you're our...
I don't believe that genders exist. I think that everyone is just a blank slate.
Oh, you're post-gender, actually.
I'm a post-gender.
Neo-gender.
My name is Neo-gender. That's my new name.
You're just... Okay, alright.
I like the Matrix a lot. That's why I changed my name to Neo.
This is like a singularity type thing. Like, there's just one consciousness is what you're telling me, I think.
Yes, and I also believe in simulation theory, too.
Okay.
That's my big thing.
Now, I hope this is not insensitive. What accent do you have? I'm assuming you're from the future.
Yeah, this is what everyone sounds like in the year 2029.
Only 3
after
years.
the great linguistic shift of 2027.
I see. Are you able to tell me?
No, because then I will be executed by the Time Squad.
Oh, how would they execute you? And also, how did you come back, actually? How did you...
I was sent here to do something very important, and that's be your mascot.
Okay.
And they would execute me by sending me back to the caveman times and feeding me directly to a saber-toothed tiger.
Hold on. So you would be executed for messing with the time stream, the timeline.
Yes.
But they would execute you by putting you even further closer to the beginning, potentially.
They say it doesn't matter as much the further back you go.
Oh, that's actually new information for me.
Yeah, that's the thing about time travel.
Okay, well, let's go back to to where you're from for a second here. Who assigned you this? Because no offense to you. You're not. You're the wrong person for this. You're not. You don't. You seem crazy. First of all,
President
right.
Josh Shapiro told me to do this. He becomes president, by the way.
Who is
and
this?
And then he's the current governor of Pennsylvania in your timeline, but in my timeline, he's the president.
Okay, when you say my time, wait, now you're implying you're from a different timeline. You're not in the same timeline, like.
I guess not. If I implied it, I guess I'm not. I'm from a complete string theory or something.
And when did you go to my timeline? You said you were assigned to be my.
Yeah, they told me that somebody, it's kind of a Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life. He was just told that there was a podcast that needed a mascot. I guess I was told that, not Clarence, to be clear. Clarence is not real. He's still a movie character in all timelines.
in all timelines, that's
the constant.
There's still It's a Wonderful Life.
Timelines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm here to be a whimsical mascot. I hope I'm doing a great job.
You know what? I think you're fired, actually. Okay. I think
I'm just going to walk out of here.
Okay.
Squeak! Slam!
But we got to fix that door. We gotta oil it up in here.
Hey guys!
Hey,
I'm back. I'm Spencer.
Yeah, I know who you are.
I just saw someone leave as I was coming right in.
Let me ask you something, Spencer. Can you describe? Because I don't even know what I was looking at here. Can you describe what you saw?
I saw a guy that had he kind of had like Marge Simpson hair and was also dressed like he was in Lost in Space.
Okay.
And I think he had a badge that said, "I'm from the future. Ask me about future events." And so I'm assuming that's how people dress in the future, which is maybe something we could talk about, the menswear of the future.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Spencer. I'm sorry. I don't know if you read the notes here. We're not talking about that today.
Oh, okay.
That's in the future.
You're right.
Believe it or not.
But then it's going to be called menswear of the present.
I was about to say that exact thing. And how do I know? I'm from the future.
Because you're from the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't believe in that stuff. Whenever someone says they're from the future,
yeah, I don't believe in the future.
Yeah, I'm a firmly present person. That's why they call it the present.
If I start thinking too much about the future, I'm going to lose my edge.
Marbles.
Yeah,
my marbles.
What do you think? Do you think they still? Do kids still play marbles today? Like the game? Like
I doubt
what is it like?
man.
You
Do they even know what it is?
Is that the one? Wait, is that jacks? Wait, hold on. There's jacks on the ground. You bounce the
jacks are the thing,
and you pick it up. Yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't know how
Wait,
jacks
what's
or
marbles?
marbles are played.
Yeah.
Well,
do you just throw marbles?
Well, like there's like different games. Like I don't know. I've seen one where it's like what's it called? It's kind of like curling, where you have to get it. Close,
I remember. Yeah. Is this Ed, Ed and Eddie? Is that why I'm thinking of this? Is there like a weird?
They like
Marbles
gumball,
thing?
or no, not gumball. Jawbreakers.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with what the candy they eat, Spencer. I'm just saying, like, did they? Because this is a cul-de-sac where they're just like it's perpetually summertime. Like, I'm assuming there's an episode where they play marbles, or maybe he
probably, but I don't know. They just get in like get rich schemes.
Hey Ed.
Yeah,
pretty good, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Wait, was that part of a scam? The marble scam?
It could be. I got a great idea. Is that's like the original? That's like the original. It's Always Sunny. I feel like. I mean, that kind of three people. You know, this is so off topic. Yeah, any group of three.
It's the original 3 people show.
Yeah, the 3 magi. Actually, we don't know. Well,
they could have had like an Always Sunny type.
There were 3 kings. I'm sorry, they never told you how many magi there were, but they did say there were 3 kings of the Orient. So that's the Always Sunny. In fact, but Always Sunny, there's like 5 of them. So
I was gonna say there are more.
It's not
because
true.
it starts out with 4, and then in season 2 they add in Frank.
And in Frank Reynolds, they're like their birth dad, but not their like dad that was actually around or something, right?
Yeah, because.
Spoiler alert.
I think was he in like Vietnam? It's not a spoiler. Like who cares about spoilers in this show?
It's like 20 years old.
Were they in Vietnam doing? He was in Vietnam running a sweatshop. I think when they were kids.
Oh yes, I think I remember this.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since I've watched anything. I guess since I've watched that show. So I guess what I'm actually going to say is that the original 3 kings were just Ed, Ed, and Eddie. So that's what I was doing. Good. I also want to say we watched Return of the Jedi, or my girlfriend watched it for the first time, and she goes, "Actually, your Emperor impression's pretty spot on." And I'm like, "Well, most of my impressions are pretty spot on. Thank you very much." But I like that she finally clocked, like, "Oh yeah, the Emperor actually does sound like this."
So, he does sound like this. Because that's the most Emperor. Because you don't get much Emperor until in episode 2, right?
He's talking normal. Are you talking about episode 2, like Empire?
Sorry, episode. Yeah, Empire.
Yeah, you just have that scene of him talking to Vader where he says like, "There has been a great disturbance in the Force. Like the son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi." And then, like, they're talking about it as if he's like the implications that Vader has to find this cool guy Anakin Skywalker's son. Twist being, I'm pointing at myself. He's him. He's Anakin Skywalker. That name no longer has any meaning for me. I also saw a fan edit where they cut out the part where they cut out a lot of comedic parts. So like when so when it's all like be careful and Han goes, "Hey, it's me." They cut that completely. He just goes down there. And then instead of stepping on a branch that alerts the stormtrooper, Chewie tries to signal to Han, and that's what makes it happen. So like it's less silly. It's still a silly movie, but it's still less silly than the original 1983. I think
it's okay to have some a little bit laugh moments.
They also cut out the part where he taps the scout trooper on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey," and then they just like. They do one of those things. They just show him walking up there, and then you hear like a blaster, and then like I think the implication is that they kill him, and then they enter the shield generator, and then the Battle of Endor begins.
That's right.
Fan edits are crazy.
What's the funniest thing that happens in all of the original trilogy? I guess we'll just stick with the original trilogy.
The original 3. I think maybe something with the. Salacious Crumb problem. I mean, there's a lot of silly stuff in episode 6, man. That's
true.
You have like R2 and 3PO. Like when R2 and 3PO go off the sail barge, like 3CPO is upside down. 3CPO? 3C3PO.
Wait, that's because also like C3PO gets like disassembled, right?
In episode 5.
Yeah. Okay, that's episode 5. Okay.
Yeah, because he gets blasted by a stormtrooper in that one. Where it's funny because stormtroopers, like they all sound like this. They have like that Chicago, like the newscaster kind of voice thing. But then when he walks into the room, I'm sure we've said this on the podcast at some point already. But when C-3PO gets separated, he goes into the room and someone goes, "Who are you?" And then like that's not what a stormtrooper sounds like. But then like he sounds like an alien. But then when they reassemble him, he's like, "Oh no, stormtroopers here!" And it's like, wait, that was who sounds like that? Who are you?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Tom Kane just died. Sorry, guys. This is a Star Wars episode. We're gonna have a whole episode sometime on this shit.
We should. I mean, that would be fun.
Yeah, the menswear
I
Star
feel
Wars.
like in the new Star Wars, you do get like kind of a wider variety of accents, where it used to just be like kind of like
it's
American or
British.
just like but like
or mid-Atlantic
upper class RP British, like, and now
I mean like Bail Organa speaks in like a RP, well not RP, the mid-Atlantic accent, in episodes like 3, and I don't know, in the Clone Wars I think they just give him a regular voice, and then I think Jimmy Smits kind of does it in the Leia. It's not a Leia movie, but it is kind of because it's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad they're kind of like, they're kind of being more inclusive. I mean, they're letting actors have their natural accents, which I think is really great. Obviously, like, you have the Diego Luna's great natural accent in Andor, which is also in Rogue One. Obviously, you have Chirrut Imwe and Baze Malbus, who are, I forgot where they're from. I'm gonna say China, but that could be wrong there. But they speak their regular, or at least when they're speaking English, their accent when they're speaking English. And then most recently, you have Wagner Moura, famously from Narcos and Civil War, using his like natural Brazilian accent as he plays a character in Maul Shadowlord, and I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome. Like if you're a person of color or just someone with an accent, you don't have to play an alien. Obviously, I think it goes really fun. It goes really far to say that Star Wars is a whole galaxy of worlds.
A whole galaxy.
I know, a galaxy.
A land of contrast.
That's right.
I feel like it was like I remember in with Concha Club. I feel like even then it was kind of jarring to hear such a
strong
thick
like
Scottish accent. Yeah.
Oh! I thought you were talking about. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, that is Concha Club.
The Concha Club guy is like he's got the crazy Scottish accent.
But there's the guys from the Raid. I think they're Indonesian too, right? They're speaking. I think they're doing it like I think they're speaking Huttese or something. But they get you get to hear a little bit of their natural Indonesian accent, I think.
And now the Hutts speak English, so
that is true. I saw that clip. I actually don't like that. So that's.
I don't like it either. I'm probably not going to see. We are just talking about Star Wars.
Hell yeah!
We got to save this for the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Episode,
I'm watching it. I mean, when this episode comes out, we'll have already watched it. I'm planning on. I would buy the tickets a while ago, so I'm dead set on this. Saw the first episode of Mandalorian for the first time in like 5 years or whatever. Yesterday.
I remember really
It's
liking
not good. It's not good.
It's not good.
I would say like you compare that to Andor. I feel like just production value. It feels like. You know how like people say, "Oh, Book of Boba Fett." It looks just like that. Actually, like you're very aware you're on the volume. It's really cheesy. It's definitely more for kids. I mean, Andor feels more for adults, so it's one of those things too. But I feel like cinematography wise, it feels like a Disney Plus show. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of wild in that regard. The thing I love about Star Wars is that it's whimsical. Hey guys, welcome back.
It is whimsical.
There we
welcome.
go. So welcome back to StarWars.com. Just kidding.
Yes.
Welcome
the Hasbro.StarWars.com.
Back in the day.
Action figure animation website.
Yes. Welcome to Sound Direction, a menswear podcast about the stuffiness. I'm Ethan.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm MJ.
Thank you. I hope you're a big Star Wars fan. If you're not, you can go the fuck to hell, man. Get out of here, baby.
I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but maybe bonus episode, but I'm rewatching Succession right now.
Yep.
And I'm realizing that Tom, one of the characters in the show, for those who haven't seen it, is a big Star Wars nerd.
Yep.
Because in the first 3 episodes, he references Star Wars 2 times an episode.
What does he say?
He keeps talking. In one episode, he's like so the first episode, he's leading a meeting for the first time as manager, and he's like, "Hey everybody, I have some news for the Death Star engineering team. Put on some grills over the exhaust ports or something." And then later he calls a character, he's like my little R2 or something like that. But he keeps talking about Star Wars.
Wow.
The Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think I love it when characters love things, as opposed to Spider-Man, who's like, you guys see that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
Star Wars, yeah.
I hate that shit. Yeah. We're going to talk about Whimsy today, guys. I feel like it's something that I feel like it makes sense, and we'll kind of get into why that makes sense in a little bit. But obviously, it's kind of trending, it's been. If you look at the articles, there's a couple articles I've referenced where, like, back, like, even last year, people were like, "Oh, why this trend won't die or whatever." And you could argue, obviously, Whimsy is a lifestyle. If you've been on Tumblr before, you will know about Whimsy. But I feel like, obviously, because of its connotations, I never thought to associate it with menswear. I also feel like menswear, we don't really talk about, like, fun things. Like, menswear is not really fun at all, I think, if you really think about it, right? Like, when you look at most content out there, it's all about, what you wear to occasions like a job interview, or to, unfortunately, a funeral, or to date night or whatever. And we're slowly seeing some, or we have, at least in the past, during the pandemic, a bit more content that's more nuanced, a bit more kind of hinting about fun. You have Derek Guy's article on Put On Your Happy Suit, where he kind of talks about wearing a suit that is not for business, like something that is more fun, like a khaki linen suit, or like a brown suit, stuff like that. And then you also kind of have some content by, like, Blackbird Spy Plane, which is more about, like, swag, which I guess is kind of like the more ephemeral, cool, which I guess you could, and we'll talk a little bit about cool and everything like that, and how it relates to Whimsy. But I think there's definitely space for us to talk more about fun, and I feel like that kind of describes how we all kind of approach menswear, because it's not really too much about, I mean, we don't have to wear any of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if we wanted to not be naked, we could wear what I'm assuming what we're wearing right now. I can't see Spencer's video, but, like, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. I'm just wearing a t-shirt. Like, you could probably wear this to, we could wear this to anything,
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I work at a casual office where people do indeed wear, like a hoodie and jeans, or maybe at least maybe like a button-up shirt untucked with some jeans. Maybe they dress up a little bit, or I don't know if that's dress up. That they it's not a t-shirt is what I'm trying to say. But I feel like
Work
this,
clothes.
we have so much free will here. And it just makes sense to fill it up, which is kind of related to what Whimsy is all about when you read all this kind of stuff. But also, before we get in there, I want to also talk a little bit about slouch, because I feel like that was our word for a long time, right guys? Like, we use that to kind of describe, like, oh, like, we have a slouchy sense of menswear. We had a whole episode on slouch versus stuffiness, versus being stuffy, because kind of similar to my intro here, like, we talked a lot about how menswear is inherently, like, stuffy. People, again, it's about presentation, blah blah blah, and so slouch was kind of a good word, but it's become a little bit popular nowadays as well. Maybe as a good thing. I don't think it's just because of us. I doubt it's because of us. But like, it's, you look at, like, a Buck Mason editorial, you look at Drake's copy, or I'm sure plenty of, like, Wall Street Journal stuff, or even, like, on Instagram, like, oh, things are slouchy. And personally, I've always liked slouchy because it kind of represented the attitude we have about menswear. Like, you see a photo of like Jimmy Stewart wearing a double-breasted suit, and I think he looks slouchy, even though he's wearing a collar bar, double-breasted suit. Same thing with Jake Grantham. The whole thing was like an attitude, right? But I feel like slouch has become like an actual aesthetic, maybe not as codified as Whimsy, as we'll get into, but people tend to think slouch with tailoring is more so about being actually casual, right? Like an unbuttoned shirt, even if it has the same kind of wide fits. And so I think, thinking about it now, that article is 5 years old, by the way, our article on slouch on the podcast episode. I think it kind of made sense to kind of find a new way of talking about our attitude, and Whimsy kind of just fits in, like, right there, What do you like? But what do you guys think about Whimsy? I'm kind of curious how you guys define it, or like how it applies in your lives. MG, what do you? I mean, you're wearing you got a cute little thing on your little. Describe it to us. Yeah, describe us what this is to us.
Yeah, I mean it's Taylor actually got this for me.
Very
It's like
cute.
it's a VTuber's like headband, and she wears like she wears like a like a ribbon, and so I was like, okay, like I don't think I'll wear it outside, but put on my headphones. It's kind of fun.
Is it like so? It's attached to like it's separate from your headphones? Is what you're telling me?
Yeah, so it's like I just like zip tied it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
It's
say I
like,
can see it now. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen people wear I don't know if people still do this, but like the cat earphones or headphones out in public. It's like, I was like, oh, it's like the same thing. So it's like,
and unlike Mr.
there.
Whimsy or whatever the fuck the guy's name was, I've seen all genders wear the cat ears. I think it's cute.
The cat ears.
And it's also kind of, it feels like very anime like alt like anyone can be an E person, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
But like yeah, but you're telling me you're props to them. You're not the you don't got the same. You don't got to do it the way they do. Is what you're saying. You gotta, but you're fine wearing it at home.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, tell us more. So, like, do you ever think about using Whimsy for yourself? Ever? Did that ever cross your mind?
I mean, I guess in a way until we started using the word still.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me it's like the playfulness or like the fun that you kind of like put into it.
Yeah.
I think for me specifically it's with color, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll get more into like our fits too. Yeah. But
Yeah. I think that's a big one, and there's like a bunch of other things that the three of us kind of have as well, with not just color but like accessories and like stuff like that, those like little like details where it just makes it a little bit more fun or less less regular, right?
Yeah, that's basically kind of what it is, right? This idea of a normalcy, of a regular that you are intentionally going maybe not against, but like you add like a spice to it, you know what I mean? Like you make it a little bit more, could be personal, could be a little bit more extra, you could emphasize certain things. I mean, again, like you got the headband with ears on your headphones, like you're just making it a little bit more fun, like that's the whimsy, I think, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's just I'm probably jumping a little bit of ahead, but I think it's just another like subversion technique.
Right. It's a part of like what that is. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spencer, what about you? What are your initial thoughts on Whimsy? And did you ever use it to apply to yourself and stuff?
I guess I didn't think of that specific term, but I feel like that is something that you could definitely apply to my style. I know that of the three of us, I probably talk about and think about stuff like utility and practicality more.
Yeah, you do wear milsurp and workwear, obviously.
But also like like I don't know, if I really did just care truly about utilitarianism or whatever, I would dress like a tech guy. Like I think it's neat when like when clothes and details like serve a function,
right?
But at the same time, like I want to have like fun with my clothes. I want to like express some personality. Like I want to do something a little bit different, and I feel like that's where it kind of comes in.
Yeah.
We're just like that attitude of like, not only like I always think of the scene from Ferrari, a movie we haven't covered on the podcast.
Not yet.
Where Adam Driver is talking about design and saying that like if something functions better, usually it's more beautiful. And I don't know if that's always the case, but I don't know. I find that I like that when it comes to old clothes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I do bring that to like in everyday life, where I want to be able to stand out a little bit. I want to be able to just like like have fun with my clothes rather than just wear what makes the most sense, I guess. Like even if I still want them to be like practical and functional, I want them to be the fun version of that.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, what's funny to hear it to I guess for you to say this is because like you started out maybe not way more dandy than I was, but you were definitely maybe younger, I think. Yeah. And like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, was that like in your mind? Like, well, obviously not the term whimsy, but like you wearing suits and ties in high school and like color bars.
I feel like that was also because like I wanted to look visibly like vintage or whatever, and I feel like that's an easy way to do it, is to wear.
It is
kind of the
whimsical
more
to be
bolder stuff.
anachronistic. I feel like there's a, like,
Exactly,
like
yeah.
a steadfast kind of like, you know, it's intentionally like you know, you don't have to keep up with the times. You're intentionally not doing that, you know. Yeah.
And so something like that, yeah, just like really wanting to make it clear at first glance to anyone who looked at me that I'm wearing something vintage. It helps if you're wearing the super bold stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like being in the vintage scene, just wanting to show off, I guess, because like, you know,
That's
like,
true. Yeah, peacocking a little bit.
Yeah, peacocking, and like also just like, yeah, being the youngest people generally at any event we went to. I don't necessarily have that same impulse to peacock or like show off or whatever as much anymore. But I don't know. I feel like, you know, like when you have those pieces, you know, if you have those in your wardrobe and you still, you know, end up wearing some of them, you're gonna be injecting some of that whimsy into your outfit without it being maybe the full crazy outfit that you would wear, like, you know, 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's funny because for me it's like I feel like I do dress in kind of the same way. In fact, I might even be more like maybe more bolder, more whimsical, you could maybe even say, compared to where I was before. And it's interesting to kind of think about because like I don't think my style has changed that much, but I feel like it has just gotten more and more specific, and that's why I kind of really like whimsy as we like, you know, as the, you know, the term has kind of become more popular nowadays. People use it like whimsy maxing on TikTok and Reddit and everything like that. And not just about clothes, right?
I actually haven't heard that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Whimsy.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm just online.
I've heard of gesture maxing, of course.
I feel like that's
I'm
similar.
Clavicular's
That's
number one
kind
fan,
of
yeah.
okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Unfortunately, but I feel like there's all this kind of. First off, it's crazy that like incel like language has become part of our vernacular nowadays. You know, like mogging and mewing and like status. Was it status mogging? Like in that interview, mogging. Like yeah, what are you mocking to me right now?
We should get Clav on the podcast, dude. Tell him how to. Do you think we could help him out? Because he's kind of stuck on just like wearing polos and like jeans or whatever. We could get him into something crazy.
Well, we'd have to prove that it would be worth it for him, right, or something. I
guess that's true.
And
it would be difficult to demonstrate that value.
I don't think we can do that because the whole point about whimsy is that it's free, right? It's pure personal enjoyment. It's unpragmatic, right? And but yeah, I mean that's why like people like this that whole trend of whimsy maxing, like it's this whole, you know, this whole move, this like I guess vibe shift, right? To have you know, to take time out of your life to do things that are unnecessary, that are but like a purely like not like random. I still feel like there is a bit of like directed. There's a pointedness to whimsy where it's about prioritizing the self. I guess I can go into my personal definition of it. I feel like it's like to me whimsy is about like the pure wholesome expression of like free will. You know, it is about delight. It's about joy. It's about taking those steps in order to like, you know, to give you that joy. You know, I think that there's a lot of talk about like there's like whimsy as like a trend, as like an actual aesthetic, you know, with like fairies, stuff like that. It's usually more feminine coded. I'm sure that there is a little bit of like the I guess not masculine, but like, you know, for dudes, you see some of that, like the performative male, I think is a little bit whimsical if you think about it, you know, with like matcha, like a green drink, like it's more fun than like coffee or something, right? There's the whole like adorning your bag with like labubus or like bag chain or charms, bag charms and phone charms. And like MJ said, like even like the idea of wearing headphones out. I mean, nowadays, you know, we got like the cat ears or whatever, but there's still like there's all this like signaling going on here, and I guess the whimsy part of it is more so to make it more about delight as opposed to an aesthetic. But and again, it's also, to me, it's more of an attitude versus it being like a specific like look. Like it's not like cottagecore, even if most whimsy styles are kind of, again, for women, because I feel like men haven't really embraced it that much. But like, you know, in women's stuff, you kind of see like a lot of bold colors, you see a lot of accessories, a lot of like fantasy, avant-garde, maybe not avant-garde, but just like really bold kind of takes on clothing. Sometimes just like really just random kind of stuff, oblong shapes. You know, it is kind of like in its defiance of normalcy, there is kind of like these like common themes that kind of pop up here. You know, the whole like kiki and whatever, boo boo, whatever.
Kiki and booba.
Booba, you know, yeah, it's more booba than it is kiki, right? There's a kind of thing to it, you know, like
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, something that like that I wish that more people could see the whimsy in like
menswear,
specifically menswear, and maybe that is kind of an indictment of most men who do tend to dress like very boring. But I feel like, you know, we've talked about this where you see comments online of like, I'm so tired of guys just wearing suits. Why can't they do something more, you know, crazy or out there or whatever? And I think it's an issue of like most guys just wearing suits to like wedding or court for the past like 20 years or something like that. But I wish that people could recognize there can be like whimsy in these items that are just traditionally like menswear, you know, like rather than it not being considered like whimsical or whatever, unless you're dressed like Billy Porter, whatever.
Yeah.
No shade to Billy Porter, but like I just don't want to dress like him. But I feel like
you want to capture like a similar. Like, there's a kinship. There's like a similar. Like, I want to be expressive of something. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit about this now. Let's talk a little bit about items or specific things that could be whimsical, like in menswear, because again, like. I do think there is kind of an aesthetic for whimsy, and we'll kind of get into that with jauntiness in a second here. But I feel like one of the first parts in there is kind of identifying what exactly is like whimsical. And I feel like MJ, like obviously MJ, you're wearing the ears on your thing, but I feel like it's something like that, right? It's something like that kind of gives the same kind of fun playfulness. And one way of accessing that is by literally having items that are like, maybe not shouting it, but like that are saying something in that way, you know? And MJ, I know you said that you had to talk about color, but I know that you've got a lot of clothes with color in there. I mean, tell us a little bit about how you access whimsy in the individual items. I'm curious about your thoughts there.
Yeah. I mean, first thing that comes to mind are the Marnie open collar shirts.
The floral shirts in general, right there. Boom, you know.
Yeah,
florals for spring, groundbreaking.
You know, just like the pale yellow, like floral green, like, you know, it's a little bit, I guess, less commonly worn, or like, you know, it has that like louder aesthetic than just wearing like even if it's just a solid yellow shirt. So that's a big one for me. Talked about accessories a little bit before, but like the Drake's tennis pocket square that you gifted me a few years ago, that's like one, because just like the light green tennis print, and that it's a sport, but it's like it's a game. It's like, you know, like it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, just even having it as a pocket square, right? Because I think for most guys, right, maybe it's different now because of the whole #menswear movement. So maybe we're wrong here. But like, you know, historically, pocket squares in most people's minds were like, you know, it's like a solid color that you match with like your tie or your shirt, or it's supposed to harmonize with it, right? But like the idea that it could be a print, which you could have a myriad of colors, you know, it could even be abstract. It could also be like, like specifically like a motif of tennis rackets, or the one that I always wanted from Drake's was the astronaut one. And I still don't think I need it, because like I as you might have heard from the podcast we had on pocket squares, I don't actually wear my a printed pocket square that much. I usually wear a white one, and again, it's more jaunty. We'll get into that in a second here. But like, I love that idea, you know, and because it was space, like the background was like navy blue or like a dark blue, so I feel like it would go with a lot. But like having an astronaut in a pocket square is kind of fun, you know, like there's like literally no reason to do that. It's, you know, you might not even notice that it is that until you take it out of your pocket, you know. But like, you know, I think inherently patterns and like colors are like some of the easiest ways, I think, like you said, to access like whimsy in menswear. I mean, that's kind of like the whole idea of those things, were because like, okay, if a navy suit is formal or like normal, then having a plaid suit is playful, you know, like just historically speaking. And I think that's obviously still happens today because people don't wear tailoring anymore. So like, the act of wearing tailoring is whimsical, I guess. Well, yeah, I do think so. But then you add add to it further, kind of echoing what Spencer, like when you really want to signal it, like, yeah, you're into tailoring, but you also want to show that you're having fun with it. You wear like a plaid suit or a check suit or like a red suit or a purple suit, stuff like that. Well,
yeah, because I guess to me, like what like I think about when I think about whimsy is like if you're wearing a suit without the intent to just look like I'm a powerful businessman or
just like a regular
please fuck me or something, like like I feel like you're never gonna get we're talking about like a guy that is now hasn't been relevant for like 7 years, but like you're not gonna be whimsical like following like Alpha M's advice, I feel like anything like that, whatever is currently popular with the kids, anything like that where it is literally just like here's how to get promoted or laid, that can't be whimsical. But if you are dressing specifically for yourself, if you're dressing just because it's like something that you like, without that kind of ulterior motive, then I feel like that is more what whimsy is.
Right. Yeah, because like if you compare it to like the whole traipsing through a field, right? Like there's literally like it's pure enjoyment. There's no rhyme or reason to it, right? And if you have rhyme or reason, it removes that whimsical, or it's inherently not whimsical. I do want to say one kind of related thing. I saw a post from a guy saying like, man, I grew up with Alpha M and teaching men's fashion. I feel like, and he said like, those guys took years off of my style journey because like he got caught up in like the whole thing, and like I think it's kind of like those Trump like, what was I fucking doing, man? Like I can't believe I voted for him. Oh. It's like that where it's like they recognize like it's so so aggro. At the very least, it's just too safe, and I feel like now because fashion is much more like it's a hobby. It's a huge hobby now, right? Fit checks, like people, like my mom saying, "Can I do a fit check?" It's like the hobby vernacular, like just like incel stuff, I guess, is kind of like infiltrated the regular lexicon out there of the internet. It's kind of interesting to see. But and to your point about like the whole guy hasn't been relevant, I feel like they've just been updated, right? Like the whole like the performative male aesthetic is just like the lumberjack hipster thing, just like a new version of that, and I feel like now people are more concerned with like swag. It's weird. It's like people want to be nonchalant, I think is what it is. Like so they might not be like like pickup artists from like 2009 or whatever, like not Barney Stinson, but they still want to be like Timothy Chalamet, like they want to be like, I don't care. And so like,
well, I feel like Timothy Chalamet is a guy that cares very deeply.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why some kids don't like him, I think. But
I guess it's flipped now. Like, I guess after the whole with like Martin Supreme, I think
Yeah. I'm always gonna be a Marty defender.
Yeah.
This is like me with old, where too many people are just going against it, so I'm gonna have to go harder.
Martin Supreme's fine. I don't hate it. I do hate old. But no, I think we're still like in a thing now where like the pragmatism may not inherently be like sex or being laid, but it's like you want to look cool, you want to look nonchalant, and I feel like that's also holding dudes back from being whimsical, because I feel like even again like the idea is a performative male thing, which is kind of whimsical, or it's performative because it's trying to signal that whole thing. Yeah, there's like there's a little bit of a pragmatism behind it. There's a little bit of an ulterior motive because you want to look soft. I guess soft boy aesthetic is kind of tied into it too. But like it's about. What I think is funny though, I guess, is it's about like accessories versus like the garments themselves. You know what I mean? Like add like a bag charm, but like maybe they're not gonna wear a crazy outfit or a thing. But also, I don't know. It could also be just overgeneralizing there. But Spencer, what about other items? You said you talked about like being practical. How do you find the whimsy in the items that you acquire? Not outfits just yet, but the actual component pieces.
I feel like it's just like about finding. Well, like specifically for my style, it's like for finding details that you wouldn't necessarily find on most things today, and I guess that's that gap has been closing as like like the kind of trendier brands have like caught up to things that I have been into. But like even as simple as like spear point collars or like throat latch shirts,
totally.
or things like that where it's like, you know, like it's like say it's we're talking about like a flannel shirt, like you have the base of like a plaid shirt that I'm sure every brand makes, but if you add these like little details, it's just something that kind of like stands out a little bit more. And this is something I've talked about before, but like even when it comes to like practical utilitarian clothing, I always really appreciate like very like, you know, vintage examples or like very old school kind of philosophies where like rather than like, you know, like if you want to have a garment that is good for athletics rather than making it like, you know, just stretch fabric, like adding pleats or adding like, you know, like belt backs or these things that like affect the kind of aesthetic and cut and like how these jackets are styled or how these items are styled, like versus just like, okay, it's like stretch fabric. Like I like being able to like see the utility, and this is just going back to the point of utilitarian clothing, in my opinion, can still be quote unquote whimsical.
Yeah. No, I agree a lot there. Obviously, like details, whether they're superfluous or utilitarian, I feel like just make something very, excuse me, take a shot, makes it very whimsical. And I feel like obviously a lot of the stuff is like relative, right? Like you need to have a normal thing, you have to have a basic or an agnostic thing for it to become as whimsical. Like unfortunately, if everyone traipsed through fields, or if that was a common practice for people, maybe it wouldn't be as whimsical, right? Like if cosplay was, everyone did cosplay or whatever, but because it's not, it still reads as whimsical. So like the fact that there are regular stuff means that like just having these details make something like like that much more whimsical. Having a plaid shirt in the form of a camp collar with like big chest pockets and flaps with like a, you know, that makes the shirt more whimsical. I think that to be clear, we didn't say this earlier, but like it's not about finding like the most whimsical item. Like there's no like there's, you know, in terms of whimsy maxing, it's about like the stats versus like the whole thing, you know. Like you don't have to have like, I mean, yeah, a purple suit is whimsical, like inherently so, but like you could make a navy suit more whimsical by like having it in, you know, like with a cut or with like the lapel shape or having patch pockets or whatever, you know, having it, you know, I mean, having the silhouette just be wider just makes it feel more whimsical, or the opportunities, the propensity for it to be whimsical, more so than like a really slim fit suit. Like it's just more expressive. Like it's not saying you can't have a joke. Like if you're talking about like sentences, like you can have a joke in like 5 words, but like adding in more words is kind of more fun. Like you being verbose and doing, you know, it lets you have that opportunity, you know, to do so. And it's the same thing with clothing. You know, you have to be able to do certain stuff with it, or it has to have certain elements. Yeah.
I feel like, you know, going back to, I'm going to talk about Clav one more time, and to be clear, I'm not a fan of his. I have only watched his interview on the Adam Friedland show. But like in that interview, like he revealed himself to be the least whimsical man of all time.
That's
where
right.
it's like he doesn't. Like I feel like the main thing is like you don't get any enjoyment out of this. You're doing this because like, you know, he's doing all the whatever crazy shit he does because like it makes him the most objectively and scientifically attractive in whatever crazy metric he's judging that on. Like not because he enjoys it. He doesn't seem like he's having any fun. It doesn't seem like he's enjoying any of it. And, like, you know, here I am. I'm a bald, fat guy, and I'm having way more fun than he is. So, like, really, who's winning over here, you know?
The bald, fat guy?
The bald, fat guy's over here.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so what are some of your favorite whimsical items, you know what I mean? Like, and I think before that, too, I think it goes without saying that you chose to buy the stuff over something else. Like, you could have a boring version, but you decided to not because these are more whimsical. But, like, what are some of the stuff that you own that you think fits that bill?
I have my quadruple patch pleated pocket
Fleck jacket. Hell yeah, dude.
That one's really good. My fishing jacket with the crazy pockets.
I know I love that thing. Hey,
yeah,
right.
I have I don't know, like even like I feel like the kind of like 70s like racing track jackets, you know, that have like the kind of asymmetrical like piping or like, you know, stripes or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something you don't see typically in athletic clothing anymore. I don't. This is maybe stretching the definition of whimsy because it's like from war, but like I feel like even some like old school military surplus, which is like cut in very crazy,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ways with like insane details that you don't see anymore because we figured out kind of more straightforward things to achieve all the things that they were trying to achieve, but
Yeah.
like now they look like super cool and like hey Star Warsian.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
even M43 pants with their fucking pockets on the side, like just having one pocket, I think that's so funny.
Yeah.
I think that makes it inherently, like, especially compared to like OG 107s, which I feel like, and OG 107s compared to a regular pant, like it's like a sliding scale here. Not to say that M43 pants. To be whimsy max, you have to get M43s over that. But it's kind of like, again, just finding those things. Like that's what always attracted me to like that particular pant. And when I wear it, it's kind of funny that like when people notice like, hey, you have one giant pocket and there's literally no other pockets on here.
Yeah.
It's just the big ass like hip cargo pocket, and that's whimsical. I think you know what I mean. Like and also the fact that it's old as hell, like having it from World War II.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really, again, really fun. Like the idea is that you're finding, like, I truly believe that items, if all items say something, and they do, they're semiotics. I feel like every item has an inherent sense of whimsy, and it's really fun to like pick. Like for me, I, having a purple shirt, sure, that's whimsical. But like most times, I mean, I'm not gonna wear that as much as like a plain blue shirt, plain white shirt, etc. But then you add in details like, oh, I think a stripe is more whimsical than a plain one, right? Like, and then it's about the type of stripe too. Like obviously uni stripes are nice, but I like a reverse stripe. There's something more interesting to me, more fun than having to have like a solid color and then having like those medium to thin white stripes going through it. Bengal stripes obviously like are pretty fun. Having those in like purple and green and yellow, and then having awning stripes or like Dobby stripes. There's so much in there. In just at the initial selection that lets you have a lot of fun, that's more so than like a normal thing. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like buying it just because that maybe it's already inherent to me. It's intuition where I just feel more attracted to those particular items. But the same thing could be said of like like a knit tie versus a black solid tie, or like seeing how the 30s did those like very deco-y gradient stripes, that are really thick and have multiple lines going through them versus like I hate to say it, the Brooks Brothers #2 tie, the one like that's just very evenly striped. I hate that tie. That tie sucks. But like having one that's or like a block stripe and like a vibrant yellow and navy and red all together, like I feel like it just makes more. It just screams out to me, or at least says something more than the alternative. And I think that if anyone's interested in like finding their own stuff, I think it's about like again learning about details, exposing yourself to like the possibilities of menswear, and then finding which ones like say something like to you. I think before we get too far, and we're already kind of far, it's kind of like you don't have like whimsy is like it's not a metric. It's like it's an attitude. It's like you don't have to like, oh, I can't buy that because it's not the most whimsical thing. I think it's about finding whatever that is for you, and leaning more into like personal taste. But let's talk about actual outfits here now. Like I know Spencer, you say you're a little bit more not pragmatic, but your styling is not as whimsical as one would think. But I feel like you do have whimsy in your outfits, even if they are.
I sure do.
Yeah. So tell us about how you access that. I think
I think like if you like my most honest common one is I just wear my fun shirt all the time, my Brooks Brothers fun shirt.
Oh yeah,
But even outside of that, I feel like stuff like when I wear suits, like I love wearing white pants, and I've loved that forever.
Yeah.
But like doing that with like patch pocket jackets or odd jackets, and like spear point collar shirts or something like that. I don't know. I like to have like a little bit of fun. I don't like looking. I find it so boring if you're just wearing a suit and trying to look like a powerful CEO or something. Again,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like I'm currently rewatching
Succession.
Succession,
Yeah.
and every single episode is like three or four guys having a meeting wearing like, you know, powerful peak lapel suits with white shirts and navy ties, whatever. And that's just the most boring shit in the world to me. Like, I don't know, I like mixing it up with like milsurp or workwear. And again, like, I don't know, a lot of people do that, but I'm having fun with it. Like, it's, I feel like the main thing is, like, you know, when you're not dressing, like I said, to with the idea that, like, okay, this outfit is going to get me laid or make people respect me or whatever, but like you're wearing it because you pull it out of your closet and say, like, I love this thing and I want to wear it today.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's a playfulness to your outfit. I feel like, you know, like you said, like when you know, maybe you wear like 40s gabardine pants, but then you wear it with cowboy boots, and you know, you kind of, like the juxtaposition comes out of like what exactly is being combined together, you know? Like, obviously, like a fishing jacket could be worn more gorpy, but then you wear it with Americana, and I feel like that's a fun take on Americana. Like, you making it that more whimsical in that way, or even just like, you know, you wear it like, you know, for like you wear crazy ass, well, not crazy, but like super distressed jeans with a sport coat, and I feel like that's kind of funny. Like, there's something whimsical in the idea that, like, maybe not like the outfit itself might not be like, oh, I'm so fun, but like, it's funny to think that the guy who is wearing jeans and sport coat is opting for not just a vintage sport coat, but like jeans that are like falling apart, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Like, there's something funny. Like, there's a humor and amusement in that entire idea, you know? Like, it's kind of similar to what we talked about with cinematic dressing, where like, oh, when you wear cowboy boots with like a trad suit, like the idea is that it's like a maybe like an Ivy Leaguer, but he like grew up in the South or something, or in Texas, you know, like there's a funniness to that kind of character, you know. And I feel like you're really good at doing that. Like, yeah, like you said, like wearing the fun shirt, but then with like military chinos, you know. And I know a lot of guys do it, but I feel like that's what makes those particular outfits whimsical in my head, you know. Or like the fact that you wear like, you know, a ball cap that's like fucking destroyed with something, or like from your college, or like wearing a cowboy hat or whatever. You know, I feel like there's always ways that you do that. But MJ, what about you? How do you access, so when you're putting the outfit together now, like what's the whimsy of it all for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's mostly the accessories or like details. Been doing the like handkerchief or like neck scarf a lot,
and that's pretty whimsical, you know, the idea that you're doing that particular move instead of a tie, or just the fact that you're adding anything around your neck at all feels whimsical, I feel like.
Or even just, I mean, it's been a while since I've worn it, but you know, like the like berets already, just like
inherently
just the choice of
all timer,
and then like the texture, the color, it's already
you have a yellow one, right?
There, I have the yellow one. I have the HW Dog and Code, the navy one. You know, the texture on that's like a little bit more interesting. Things like that. You know, we talked about the wearing florals. You know, I still have Hawaiian shirts, so that's a good one.
Do you think of like, and Spencer, feel free to jump in as well. But like when you make an outfit, do you think, oh, this is like you're intentionally being whimsical, or is it more about like adding whimsy to an existing kind of like rig that you have? MJ first.
It's a little bit of both, because you're also kind of when you're deciding on combining things, that is like the whimsy, right? Like
yes, I completely agree.
The permanent style you know, article that we kind of went over beforehand kind of has that, hey, like, you know, mixing this, like, you know, Western shirt, denim shirt, it's like cowboy, right? But then it's like, what do you do with that to make it your own? What do you do with that to like further incorporate you know, whimsy, subversion, whatever you want to call it, to make your own.
I like that. I mean, what are some of the outfits that you've worn together that you think is like the most whimsical? Like anything that comes out in your head, like, oh, that one was like, that's whimsical, or like, that's pretty whimsy of me, or whatever, you know?
What did I wear? I don't know. It was kind of like a. It was kind of like how what it like a PMC like sort or but like off duty kind of you know CIA type of like military with like Hawaiian shirt or like floral shirt. It's kind of that. Just like mixing aesthetics too. I feel like has that like form of whimsy because like you're putting things together that most people are like majority of people would just pick one instead of trying to
literally whimsy maxing. You're kind of combining a couple of things together in order to achieve that. I mean, that's kind of true, right? Like you could wear a purple suit. You could wear that with like a white shirt and a black tie, but you could also wear a purple suit with like, I don't know, a green. Well, I guess I'm going to the Joker now, but like a green striped shirt or something, or okay, a blue striped shirt. Let's make it more trad, But like, yeah, there are ways to kind of like amplify it, And I think that's kind of like what I do. I don't think like I tend to lean on like one bold thing. I think that happens a lot with sometimes when I'm intentionally being trad. Like I think that. I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but like even when I have like a going out outfit, going out to the bar and I intentionally, it might not read as whimsy kind of, or at least, colloquially speaking, but like I do think there are things in there that make it whimsical. Like I usually have some kind of like bandana or like neck scarf that like adds color and personality and like again whimsy to like a sexy or like loose edgy outfit. I also think there's something funny about like wearing flares. Even though flares are sexy, I feel like that flares are also kind of fun. Like it's just like it's an interesting thing that again in my head, again, it's not about like that a going out outfit is like super whimsical, but it's like I'm finding the whimsy within that. And I'm reminded of an outfit I wore to my friend Erica's birthday. And I guess that day I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe I was like looking at like old like Interpol, like the band or whatever, or just like old alt indie stuff where like they're wearing like black suit, black shirt, black tie, or like a black suit, white shirt, whatever, with like jeans or whatever. And I was like, I kind of wanted to do that, but then I was I hadn't worn my black shirt at point collar shirt in a while, so I put that on, and I felt like I don't want to wear all black, that's kind of boring. And I could have worn like a 30s striped tie, but I have this old like 90s black tie with like cream polka dots, and they're big. It's not like it's too close together or rigid. They're pretty like, it feels like a 1930s like fun abstract tie. And then putting that like literally a polka dot tie is whimsical, but I feel like it adds even more whimsy when you wear it with like a sexy all black outfit. You know what I mean? And it was like a whimsical take literally of like a going out fit, and it just like that's usually my MO with that kind of thing. Again, like I'll wear like black jeans and like a dark sport coat, but then I'll add like a fun sweater, or like I'll wear like a 30s rayon shirt with like a crazy design. But usually for me, I think the whole outfit is just whimsical. I feel like it's just this kind of brings me to what was the original topic for this, which was like jaunty, which I feel like to me whimsy might be like the mindset of like the agency and like I can do whatever I want. I want to have fun. I want to make an outfit that I love. But I think if we're talking about like the specific like expression of the outfit, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into it, I feel like it's jaunty, like it's like it's pointed. There's like a cheekiness to it. It's like it feels inherently anachronistic, like obviously with my entire like 30s inspired style, but I feel like the whole idea of like stepping out, being jaunty, like it kind of it fits for my thing, especially because my outfits are pretty trad as well. Like I feel like I do have like whimsical outfits where like I'll have like a floral shirt, or again like when I used to wear my purple suit that now MJ has because I can't fit into it anymore. There are outfits that are more that way, but like typically, right, I think like wearing like Ivy or Apparel Arts, it might not feel as whimsical, but like when you have the context of like real life, and just like the fact that it's also like a myriad of like items together. Like I love, again, pattern mixing, striped shirt, pattern tie, which to me is more whimsical than too many solids. Like the whole effect of the outfit becomes like whimsical, becomes jaunty. And I'm stepping out. It's like you're like in a fashion illustration come to life, or that's my whole thing. And I love doing that. There's something about like having like a very intricate thing that has the perception of effort, but like being able to like kind of just be to wear it like just because, you know. And a lot of my outfits are in that vein, and there's a lot going on usually against striped shirts, plaid jackets, or you know, I'm wearing a fedora or a Tyrolean hat and a beret, and it's a lot more holistic. Like it's cohesive. You know, it's not like, oh, the beret is the only whimsical part of the outfit, but like it's the fact that I'm like a character, and I'm not even like a specific character. It's just me. You know, I'm a character, and I'm like stepping out there, and like that's where I find like the whimsy for me, like. And there's always like subsets, right? There's like, you know, I could do like a French Ivy version, or I could do apparel arts, or I could do like Ivy, you know, where like I'm wearing like a crest motif tie, and I feel like that's whimsical too. Like I don't fucking belong to any club or school, but I'm wearing one of those things. I haven't been stopped in the street to be like, hey, stolen valor, take that off. Not, you know, that hasn't happened just yet. But you know, being able to kind of do all of that, you know, or to look like a jazz musician, or to kind of, you know, to do all that kind of stuff. I find it so much fun, you know, and I feel like lately I've just like really leaned into it. I don't know what it is. It could be, or maybe I do know what it is. Like obviously the pandemic with its like demise of like dress codes, and like, you know, a lot of menswear guys were like, oh, like there's no reason for me to dress up. I feel like I've been emboldened by that. But there's also the fact I feel like I've gotten like way more into like whimsical, or like my whimsical like outlets of expression. You know, obviously I've always been like a composer. I've always loved making music and taking photos, but like getting into painting and collecting art, and like being, you know, having to being able to move out and then like adorn my whole room with stuff that I enjoy. Like, you know, I wouldn't say like fashion is not my only personality. I feel like my personality, like fashion comes out because of my personality. Like there's so much, like, I mean, you guys can't see it. No, I'm talking to the audience, but like MJ and Spencer have can see my room. There's like a whole like bunch of stuff. There's records right here. There's like Star Wars action figures over here. There's like I like pinned a like I have an old jacket that's a belt back, and I put a whole bunch of vintage pins on there because I didn't want to put my pins in like a little box, because I want to see them. I want to be able to be out there, and it just makes sense. And you know, like I love Star Wars. I do Star Wars impressions all the time. You know, and it feels like fashion. I wanted to be able to, or I've always wanted to be able to like express that part of me through clothes, and it's an ongoing thing. You know, this whole journey of like, okay, what does that mean? How do I do that? You could be wearing suits because suits are crazy, and I love suits. I love the idea. And then, okay, well, like, how do I make it even more so? Well, then if the tie is vintage or the whole outfit's vintage, if there's silhouettes, then you have the patterns, and so it's like I might be a lot, but also my clothes are a lot. It just kind of makes sense. And my goal is to make outfits that just look like that, or play up that part of my personality. You know, like there are days when I feel sad or feel like reserved, and so like maybe I'll wear like a navy suit with a solid tie, but then I'll wear suspenders. It's like a little bit of like a cheeky, like, see, I'm still having some fun here, you know. Like I have a whole thing where like I wear red socks, you know, and because of my wide leg pants, it might be a little, you know, you might not see it unless I cross my legs, but like that's kind of like the fun. It's about finding those small things like just for you. You know, it's like my version of like putting googly eyes on like my wallet. Like I don't think I'm that, like I'm not that kind of person, but I'll find a way like that to like make myself happy. It could be like sunglasses, you know, something with like yellow lenses and stuff like that, you know. I'm looking at my fucking like console in my room. Like there's a fucking statue of a fox with riding boots on there, and it's a bottle opener on the bottom of it. But like it's next to like light yagami and like a cinema roll. Like there's no rhyme or like it's intentional. I love these things. That's the only intentional. It's the only rhyme and reason that's there. But like other than that, like it's just there for fun. And I kind of wish more guys kind of got into that more, or, you know. And I'm not saying that people don't enjoy what they wear, but I feel like there is something that maybe, you know, just based on conversations, like I feel like people do want to do more, or they want the excuse to like have it. And that brings us to the last part of this. I'm like, when do you guys find that you're the most whimsical? Like, and how do you, like, what do you do? Like, do you save those stuff for like specific events, or like how do you access that in practice? Anyone? Okay, Spencer.
I mean, okay, so I think I've always been I don't know. I've always been the kind of dresser where like it really depends on my mood for that day.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of times, like if we're going to specific menswear events or a specific party, I might have in mind I want to do something more elaborate or more
special.
Yeah, which part of you want to
do.
be for that thing?
Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of vintage events specifically is where I maybe go most whimsical, because I'm trying to lean into the fact that vintage clothes are like fun and they're cool. Like this is an outfit from like a long, almost 10 years ago probably.
Yeah.
But one of my more whimsical outfits that I can think of was to one of Benny's backyard parties.
Yep.
And this was kind of like an experiment I was doing in pattern mixing.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so this was something where it's like I watch old movies or look at old photos and see like combinations that I didn't think I saw even vintage collectors doing. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And so I had a red gingham shirt, like a bird seed. What the fuck is that pattern called? Bird's eye. Yeah, bird's eye twill.
Yep.
Bird's eye twill suit.
Well, it's not a twill; it's just a weave. But yeah,
just a bird's eye suit, and then like a kind of similarly dense pattern tie.
Yep.
Like Art Deco tie, and I put that all together. And that was kind of me just trying to be like, how crazy can I get?
It is crazy. You know, I know. I have the photo. It is an insane fit.
Yeah, I was really proud of that. It used to be my Facebook profile picture for a while. Yep. But like, but yeah, that is like one outfit where I can think of where I like kind of set out to be like, I want to dress different. I want to stand out. Like I want to have like a little bit of fun with this and maybe break some rules. And so I feel like generally, like, you know, like I said, for work, most of the time, like I still have fun when I dress for work, but I also want to make sure like I am like comfortable and I'm protecting the clothes that I love. When I have to like run across campus, which is like very large. Yeah, and I have to like, you know, like I have to kind of be ready to do a lot of movement.
Right.
And so I don't dress up as much for work as I did when I first got hired, because I realized like it's fun to do, but sometimes I wish I hadn't, the same way that we've talked about like Dapper Day and stuff like that. But for parties, for social occasions, like, you know, stuff where I know I'm just there to kind of like have fun. That's when I feel safe going a little bit more whimsical.
Yeah. Do you take it upon yourself to do whimsical activities? Do you think that like accesses a little bit of that? I don't know if it does or not, but I'm kind of curious.
I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do whimsical activities.
Yeah. And again, whimsical, like relative to you. I'm not saying, because I'm saying that you're gonna go to like, you know, catch butterflies in a field. Although you could if you wanted to. You know.
I could if I wanted to. I don't know. I feel like I generally do things that make sense for the kind of guy I am, like going to museums and bookstores, and
that's whimsical. That's kind of whimsical, I would say.
You know? Yeah, but like, you know, stuff like that, or otherwise, I'm just doing what our friends are doing, I guess.
Yeah. MJ, what about you? When do you find that you make any occasions for yourself to do whimsical to make whimsical outfits, or do you like sometimes? Yeah, is the whimsical outfit like the whimsical thing you did that day? You know what I mean? Like, tell me about that.
I mean, I guess it's like kind of both. I mean, kind of like Spencer was saying, taking advantage, or like when you have the opportunity to kind of show out a little bit more, then it's like, yeah, the Capitol vest comes out, the tabby boots come out. So
totally,
being able to like,
what's an example? What's you know, one time you did that, or you know.
What's that? It's been a while because I haven't gone to too much recently.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the you know, choosing those like particular items you I guess in a sense save for certain occasions. Kind of, you know, kind of push you to have those outfits that are a little bit more you know, particular than what you're usually wearing your day to day. So having those opportunities, or making those opportunities, is what kind of helps you scratch that itch for for those like forms of whimsy, or like you know.
You know, So I think obviously it goes without saying. I think I have like a whimsical life. I feel like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Because it, you know,
Well, it's that too. Going to do certain things or having certain activities that kind of lend itself to kind of look the way that you want to be when you do those things.
I feel like I do. Obviously, I think we all did that, especially me and Spencer early on, where like, because there's a little bit more convention because we were both, at least he was in high school, I was in high school for a little bit of my vintage thing, but it definitely was more of a college, even though me and Spencer are only 2 years apart because I am crazy and I like skipped a couple of grades. But we would go to those things, for those opportunities, and kind of like Spencer, I think one of the reasons why I got into like apparel arts is because I realized like no one actually dressed like apparel arts. If you think about it in vintage communities, like, it's like we think of like guys like Marc Chevalier who are immaculately dressed, but it's never like pattern mixing. It's very like, he likes a lot of solids. We kind of figured this out with a lot of people, like talking with Benny, right? Where Benny approaches it with like he said like he's on his hockey team, right? Like color blocks, like a jersey, and so it's like, okay, you got it, like, it's whimsical for him in terms of colors, but like for me, I was like, well, I'm seeing a lot of movie stars wearing like these like crazy shirts and ties and plaid jackets, and maybe that's all seen as like a little too rakish, but like that's one reason why I really got into it. And still to this day, people do not do that. You see a little bit of people, like maybe some Drake's outfits are kind of like that. You see some of, I think it's kind of European as well. Like you see a lot of like Europe, like French and British and like, I guess, yeah, just European. I was going to name specific countries, but I feel like I'm just naming all of them. But like vintage enthusiasts around the world tend to be more into pattern mixing compared to America, us Yanks on this side of the pond here. But yeah, I think, naturally for me, like I don't always have it. I feel like sometimes the whole point is just to wear it. I work from home a lot, and sometimes like the Whimsy comes out in just like, oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to wear a fucking fun outfit. I'm going to wear a striped shirt, plaid jacket, whatever, just to sit in my room. And like, that makes me so happy because like, it's just something to do. I remember talking with some people in the We John's Discord. They have a little hot takes channel, which is like, a lot of, I'm in there posting how much I hate menswear content, but like, people, some of them were posting a thing where like, they're like, oh, no one wants to like, hey, here's my fit to like, want to like diet my salary job. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to diet my salary job. I'm going to wear whatever the fuck I want, like it's the whole, like that bus meme of like, nothing matters and nothing matters, but I'm like, if I'm just going to be in here as the sun goes down, like, why not wear a fucking fit that I'm like super proud of? And at the very least, like,
yeah,
like what, like, like your life doesn't have to be that sad and boring, or just at the very least like just like nothing happening. Like put on a fucking song, like put on like, I put vinyls on every time I'm here working when I don't need to like have complete silence to focus on my spreadsheets. But like putting on a song that you like, Spencer, you play music all the time. I feel like it's the same kind of thing of like filling the empty space. Like in my essay, like I wrote about how like Whimsy to me is like, you see the opportunities to fill, and it's not the fact that you're just filling it, but like how you fill it also. And clothing, again, is one way to like just be able to do that, and I take every fucking advantage to do that. And just like you guys, I'll dress up whatever the mood is, and most of the time my mood is like, let's go plaid jacket, or like, I'll wear a fedora just because, and in that way I feel like my cool outfits or whatever are whimsical. It's because it's the fact that I'm wearing it, you know what I mean? As in like, I think like there's a meme called the dichotomy goes crazy, where it's like this guy who's it's one of my favorite things of all time, where the guy's like, yeah, I look like I'm a fucking like asshole, but I love like crying to Mitski or whatever. And I'm like, it kind of is true, where like for me the whimsicalness of it is because my friends know that I can go from wearing a fucking Tyrolean hat and riding boots to like wearing like black flares and like a vintage t-shirt. I'm not saying like I feel like badass, but it's like, that is just like, people contain multitudes, and I think that's fun. Like that's whimsical, like that idea that we don't have to be beholden to one thing or the other. Like we can just literally have fun. It can be as impulsive as that, again, it's still built on like, okay, well, when I wear jeans, it's flares, and I put this work into finding these jeans that I like. But like the impulsivity, the emotional frivolity of it is because it doesn't really matter. I could wear what I'm wearing right now, which is a black t-shirt with a Boba Fett on it with black flares and black cowboy boots. I could wear that to work if I wanted to. I could also wear I could wear go to hell pants or whatever to work as well. I could wear riding boots to like, maybe not meet with a client. Maybe I'm not that stupid, but like I could wear that to like have a drink with a coworker or something like that. I've worn fisherman sandals out with my coworkers before. I've run into a coworker while wearing a tuxedo. I feel like it all makes sense, And like I feel like ultimately at the end of the day, I think the whimsicalness, the whimsy of it all comes from the fact that my approach to menswear, like my hobby of menswear is not buying clothes. It's about wearing them. It's about being in the clothes, doing something, and it could be again like just being at home. If the only action is I'm wearing a fit and I happen to document it, that's fine. But also like I love like Spencer, like being out there, like going to a vintage event. Like I want to be dressed up, not be dressed up as in, like I put the clothes on my body or we put the outfit together. Like exist in the world in that outfit, And I'm reminded of cosplayers, and I my ex is a big cosplayer, and she she'll put on Paul's work into making something, and she'll take some cool post photos, but there's also the photos of them at like a diner or and this is implication I think with cosplay, right? It's like, oh, this is what it'd be like if Jotaro was like at Denny's or something, there's like this weird alternate universe, and it's like, that's so funny. Like you're even making the idea of being a fictional character, taking it to like the nth degree. Like they're coming out, they're kind of coming out into the real world and doing this like mundane thing to us. But like it's funny because it's like again, this fictional character could be like Death Note or like Light Yagami and L, being out and I don't know, Chuck E. Cheese. There's like a weird concept behind it. And even though I might not be a fictional character, because my whole thing is I want to be a part of me. I want to be a part of me. That's me. Like, I want to be that thing. Like, it's the idea that I am the equestrian dress dude at Denny's. Like, there's it's about accessing that, and it's not like I'm doing it for the photo shoot. It's that that's just what I have to be doing, and it helps to have certain things that are whimsical, like going to, I don't know, I guess the Phil would be a good serious example where anyone can go to the Phil. It's $30 for youth in LA, and it's great if you're free on a Thursday night, and getting dressed, you can go also going to the Phil inherently whimsical, being dressed up more so, or just playing along with it, wearing a tuxedo, finding this opportunity to do that. Also going to the Renaissance Fair, as we've talked about, there's a reason why so much of the stuff that I've been excited to write about has been those kinds of events. It's because it really gets at what I said, the hobby of just being dressed up. I'm wearing jeans, cowboy boots, and a Boba Fett t-shirt right now. I'm gonna go to watch it's Mandalorian, Din Djarin. He's not Boba Fett. With my girlfriend, but I am dressed up for that. I could be wearing pajamas to do that. Sure, I could. And that's totally fine too. I think my pajamas, we all have the plaid set of pajamas from Uniqlo. That's whimsical. Having a pajama set that's not just, your old gym t-shirt and drawstring shorts. Shorts, that's fine too, but I don't know, I wanted to wear something that's Star Wars, and I kind of wanted to look cool because I think Star Wars is cool, and it's a Monday, so I feel like yesterday wore riding boots. I think it's kind of fun to go from wearing riding boots to wearing something edgy, and just again doing that, just existing, living life in whatever fit that happens to me, whatever fit called to me that particular day, or that emotional, it's so emotionally cathartic to me to kind of do that. And I want, if you feel that way, why wouldn't you do that every day, and I love being able to do that, or and that's why whenever we all hang out, it's almost like different characters coming out. It's like an MCU event or whatever. We're okay, we got Mr. Milsurp over here with fucking apparel arts, and then we got a Bandito over here, or fucking, I don't know, a 70s douchebag or sleazebag over here, and I think, and that makes it inherently whimsical, just hanging out with your friends when everything is like that, it's just just existing out in life, and also making time for specific stuff. I know I kind of talked about it already with Ren Fair, but going to the horse races. There's the corgi race this weekend. I don't think I can go to it, but you know why? Because I'm going to go play mini golf actually, and it's that's so that's. Why not wear I'm gonna be wearing riding boots to go do that, because I wanted to go watch the corgi race and I had riding boots in my mind, and then I'm well, that kind of also works for golf, I feel in my head.
Yeah.
And it's just existing there and doing that, going to a zine fair, going to an art book fair, going to fucking the flea market and looking like a old French man, you know, walking around with your Tyrolean hat and like overcoat as you like look through like bric-a-brac or whatever, you know. There are so many opportunities to do this if you just, I mean, everything's free, you know. Going to an escape room. I mean, when MJ and I did the escape room for Scott's not graduation. I guess he graduated from being a single man to a husband, you know. But like, you know, like he wore the Marnie shirt with like fatigues, and I was wearing riding boots and like a bandana or like a neck scarf, and we were doing it. We were like adventure, or at least I was an adventurer, and we did like an Atlantis themed escape room or whatever, or like a submarine kind of a thing. We also dressed up like fucking U.S. like naval people to go play to go to the golfing range, the driving range, Top Golf for his thing. And we told him to dress up like a ship captain. He wore like all white, and then he had the bottom a little cap. Like, just, I don't know. Like that's like I guess we just inherently do things, and you know, I think people can do that. And maybe I don't know why we don't see it. Obviously, people can be private on social media. Like you don't have to always be posting it out there. I guess it's just because I like following people, and I just wish I like saw it more. But I don't know, like it's just so much fun. And even at the end of the day, if you're just ironing in a suit, that's fine. Like I do that all the time because I happen to be wearing that outfit, you know. One thing before we close, I want to say, like, I don't know if you guys do this. I think we do but this might not be common. I'm going to say it. I wear one outfit a day. And so it's like when I go to mini golf, and even if that's like at 11 o'clock in the morning, because like my girlfriend has work later on that day, so we have our date earlier in that day, and then I have drinks at some cool bar in LA afterward, I'm not going to change out of my riding boots and pink striped shirt and white jacket just because, you know, like I'm going to like, I think it's funny to like, you know, go from that. And I feel like that implies this whole thing of like, did you have something before or after this? I go, yeah, I did actually, you know, and it was mini golf, you know. I think that's really, really, really fun, you know. Or like, yeah, like going to like a wedding themed birthday, which again, it's not even this is a friend's friend, and I can't believe that those people were whimsy enough to do that. That's fucking awesome. But like going for a nightcap, and then I'm wearing my tuxedo. Like I'm not gonna change because like, oh no, I gotta like fit in or whatever. It's gotta be more appropriate. Like who the fuck cares, you know? I think it's funny to stick with the one outfit and just, you know, because you liked it, you know, because you had some affinity for it, and just kind of, you know, staying with it, you know. Like if you decided to wear a fun shirt and then you were going to do whatever, just wear that fit. If I was wearing fisherman sandals, you know, and why not keep going while you eat pasta or you go watch a movie or while you're at the fucking grocery store? Who the hell cares, man? Like I feel like I don't get dressed up just to go to the grocery store. I happened to be dressed up while I had to go to the grocery store, and it just is like, it makes the grocery store more fun. Or like I don't hate it. Like I never hate any errand I have to do, you know. Mm-hmm. I feel like just adding that spice and filling that time, filling the being inspired to like fill up that free space, you know. It's like why, again, I love doing everything. Like almost every inch of wall in my room is full of some kind of like artwork. As people know, I have a whole bunch of rugs. Like I love doing it. And I'm not, you know, I'm saying you have to do it like me, like, you know, but I think people should make space for some whimsy, and there's definitely space in menswear to do it. I guess this is I guess the really final question here, but like, did you ever think about how like when you picked menswear as like your, obviously like your mode of expression or whatever, were you aware of like all the possibilities for like whimsy or for expression from the get-go, or did you like, how did that happen for you guys? Was that something you thought of at all?
I feel like that might have been like one of the things that kind of drew me to it, because it was like, I don't know, the ultimate form of expression that you can like kind of change every single day. Because like, you know, if you just, I don't know, I'm thinking about like hair or makeup or well, I guess makeup you could change every day, but like, and
makeup can be whimsical. There's a lot of great fun stuff.
That's true. I'm not saying that any of these things can't be whimsical.
Right.
You know, unless you're Ramona Flowers, like you're gonna be having the same color hair every day for a while. You know, I feel like clothing is something fun because you can switch it up. Like, you know, like we've talked about with the cinematic dressing or whatever. You can be a different character. You can be like, you know, a new thing every day.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the things that drew me to it.
Yeah. Well, what about you, MJ? Were you aware of the possibilities? I mean, obviously you're newer to this than us, so you were able to see it in real time. But
Yeah.
kind of curious if you remember or you can recall.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, since I did come into it, later than you guys, I kind of had the advantage, or the I guess you did some of the legwork for me before.
Aperture of acceptability.
Before I went into it, right? Because it's like, I could already see the possibilities, like ahead, even as I was sort of, developing in what I liked and what I was discovering, all the different range of things was kind of there for me, or at least it quickly picked it up shortly after, I don't know, it sounds weird, but joining the menswear sort of deal, right?
Yeah. Right. It is, because I feel like I had the same kind of feeling, but not from a person. Like, I just saw it from, like, illustrations. You know what I mean? Like, seeing... we keep talking about apparel arts. It's really because I was, like, that's what showed me the possibilities. Like, not, like, they're wearing something different all the time, and it was not about necessarily, like, overconsumption or, I do have the biggest closet, obviously. But, like, just seeing, like, in one outfit, like, there's so much possibilities. The jacket or the odd trouser, the suit, the suspenders, the shirt, the tie, the waistcoat, the hat, the socks, the shoes. Like, there's so much you could possibly do. And, like, that's why it was never about, like, being formal necessarily. It was, like, about, like, there's so much you could do with this, and there's so much opportunity to show that you're having fun, or to be fun. Not even show, like, to be performative. Just, like, you can have fun in those decisions. We talked about, like, the fun self-imposed challenge of menswear is like, okay, how do I achieve this particular mood or whatever? And, or like, oh, I really want to wear this tie. How do I make that work? But I also want to wear a striped shirt. It's like, you just make this, like, weird algebraic equations for yourself. And, like, there's a fun in, like, solving that challenge, as it were. But, like, yeah, seeing menswear in that way, I feel like, to me, like, nothing else compares to it. Like, there's a lot of, like, avant-garde stuff, or like Lemaire. Like, Lemaire is cool. I love the slouchy stuff. Very minimal. It's very dramatic. I think there's we didn't talk about it too much, but, like, there is whimsy in the drama, like Saffin core with, like, robes and Star Warsian styles, like the more Jedi type of stuff there. But, like, those are pretty, like, they take up a lot. Like, there's a lot of, like, solid pieces in there, and I'm sure there's some takes out there that involve patterns, but, like, the intricacies, the little little stuff in there, the collar bars, the pocket squares, like, there's just so much more that I saw that's why I love doing that. And then also being able to express elements of the external stuff, like being able to wear riding boots, for example, is whimsical in itself, but also, like, it nods to, like, my love of the Ren Fair, or, like, the love of cosplay, love of Star Wars. Like, I think it's really fun that menswear allows me a place to reference that. And even when I wear it with, like, a sports shirt, it looks like Star Wars because that's what Star Wars based their stuff on. Like, it's just so much fun. Or fuck, I have a cape. Like, I can't believe, I don't know why I didn't start about this from the beginning of the episode here, but, like, I have a fucking cape that I wear, and it's practical, obviously. I mean, it's, you could, I don't know about this, dubiously socially acceptable, but, like, it's so cool, and it's, less, as we talked about in the previous episode, like, it's, if it rained, it hasn't rained yet, but, like, it covers less than a full coat, so it's, like, it's kind of, like, more breezy, literally more breezy, but, like, being able to wear that is, like, as a nod to Star Wars, as a nod to my Renaissance cape made of linen, like, as a way to bring that energy into my menswear, and to, again, it functions to have a whimsical outfit, but also shows my whimsical personality, and it works on so many levels. And I think, more people should hopefully more people can get inspired to see it. I'm sure maybe they do. They just need to see the right impetus to, like, okay, maybe I'll wear double pattern mixing, and to be clear, I feel like a lot of people kind of do this already. Like, Drake's inherently whimsical, right, with the fun ties and everything like that. They, their fun poses and going out and stuff like that. And so this is not necessarily like no one does this anymore. I feel like there are people. Just because we're complaining, me and Spencer, doesn't mean that people don't do it, I think. But I don't know, there's a lot of opportunities there. And I think it's just funny it's taken us this long to kind of talk about it, and what a funny thing for me is, like, despite like my desire to make this real. Like I love to be out there wearing this outfit. Like whimsy is kind of a chronically online term, but I literally can't think of anything better than this. You know, I feel like it really gets at the attitude that like literally nothing matters and you can just do it just for fun. Like whimsy literally is like just for fun. Like that we've been saying that our whole time we've been doing this, not just this episode, but this entire podcast. And I feel like, you know, it makes sense of like our approach to menswear, and I feel like it's more pointed in that way than slouchy, because slouchy, again, like I said, has been a little bit diluted. Jaunty is a little bit kind of pointed. I feel like dandy kind of gets in there. I mean, I think they're all kind of related to some element of whimsy, and so I'm glad we were finally able to talk about it. And it involves everything. That's why this was like the hardest article I've ever had to write in a long time, because it was like, how do you talk about your literal mindset on every single thing without feeling like I'm just doing everything all over again? And if you feel like that when you read it, I'm sorry. I'm very redundant, as you know. But it's how I think, you know. Again, I wrote some of it while wearing a cape. You know, like there's nothing even more whimsical than that. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I included some pictures in the blog post of some whimsical outfits from us, some whimsical outfits from other people, like the old heyday of Drake's that we kind of talked about previously that I love seeing. Some apparel arts, obviously, which show guys just eating a hot dog. Like we talked about eating a hot dog, wearing a fedora. Like, fuck, that's like me on a Tuesday night, baby, at trivia, you know? Hot dog, you know? People should play trivia. People should have dinner parties. There's so many ways to do whimsy, by the way, guys. Just saying. But yeah, go to the blog post if you want to see more of that. If you want to read more of my specific words and thoughts on it, go there, a little bit of rest.com. But you can also visit this other site called www.patreon.com/style and direction. $5 a month. It gives you access to our Discord where we talk about stuff like this topic, and a bunch of other stuff like our new purchases, like my Buck Mason shirt that I talked about before we recorded. It also gives you access to our bonus episode library, which involves stuff like Heat, or God damn it, every time, All That Heaven Allows.
Yes.
Not Wonka, but maybe someday. I mean, a bunch
of Wes Anderson movies.
But yes, Wes Anderson. Like that's what's so funny, right? I think we didn't talk about it that much. I kind of referenced it in my blog post, but like, one of the cool things about Wes Anderson is like they're all dressed boldly, but no one, like, it's not out of place, which I feel like is because the whole world is whimsical, but like obviously for us, you know what I mean? But like that, there's something to that in terms of aesthetics.
I know I proposed a Summer of Man, but I feel like we should do Life Aquatic next. We could save Man for fall and winter.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But
why don't we do Wonka? I feel like Wonka's hilarious.
We could do Wonka.
Yeah.
Wonka's
you guys
fun.
want to do Wonka? I mean, Wonka's,
sure,
I feel like it's whimsical. You know what I mean? Like that's
very whimsy.
Oh, that's his whole thing.
It's literally, he's like, hey kids, do you want to eat this?
Would you like chocolate that's completely insane?
Yeah, and you can fly, you know. And Fred Nidu of Taylor worked on some of the suits, so there's a menswear connection right there, you know.
That's right.
But if you want all of that, patreon.com/direction, $5 a month. 10 gives you nothing other than MJ thanking you personally. MJ, who are we thanking?
We are thanking our sidecast fanatics, Shane Curry, Philip Gregard, Henrik Wilberg, and Talbot.
We love and appreciate you guys so much. Follow the Instagram @style and direction if you want to see some of the photos without going to the blog. Whatever. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. I've been Ethan.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm MJ.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.